Steve, 3 games in 4 days can obviously be tough on the bodies of your players. Even though you guys had that day off of rest yesterday, did you feel like your guys were a little fatigued out there tonight?
Yeah, our guys were tired, but that's all part of the NBA. Indiana's going to play 3 and 4 days. Everybody else is going to do the same thing. So it's just part of the season. I just thought they came in and outplayed us, outcoached us. It was almost a carbon copy of last year's game, with different personnel, obviously. But the same thing happened last year. They had 3 or 4 guys out, and they came in and took it to us. And, that first quarter, it was obvious right away just how fast and athletic and aggressive they were, and we were swimming upstream the entire night.
Anything you can point to that would indicate why this was a tough night from 3?
Why
it was a tough night 3-point shooting?
Well, I thought their defense was excellent. They had a good plan. They were trapping Steph out on the perimeter and JP. They were running those guys off the line. And, when the game's not going your way, you've got to be able to get stops and score in transition. And we never really contained them defensively. I mean, they were really they controlled the whole game. Nembhard was fantastic, and he controlled the whole game for them. And we were never able to really string together a bunch of stops. And maybe for a little stretch there in the second half, we got we had one stretch where we got some stops, but for the most part, we couldn't control them. And our defense wasn't able to lead us, to offensive transition.
How much do you think you missed Andrew's perimeter defense, and how big an issue right now do you feel like point of attack defense is for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, we missed Andrew, but like I said, they were without 4 or 5 guys, so it's not an excuse. We've been pretty healthy all year. We've been, knock on wood. But that was a major problem tonight was not being able to stay in front of them, and Nembhard in particular was just getting anywhere he wanted in the lane, and you saw his patience. He threw some brilliant passes, lob passes, drop passes, and then when we tried to cover up the paint, he was out there knocking down threes. So great player.
Hey, Coach. Pre-game, you talked a little bit about Clay's historic game 6 years ago and, what it kind of meant for you. And you like seeing games like that over the course of your coaching career. Tonight, wasn't necessarily a 60-point game, but you saw what it did for the crowd and for the bench when Clay gets going and gets that hot hand. Can you talk a little bit about that and kind of what it does for the team and what it does for the team when he gets that hot hand?
Well, Clay, kept us afloat for a while tonight, made 8 threes, I think, and had it going a couple of times in the game to kind of keep us in it. And so he's obviously, a huge reason why we've been able to win championships, and there's a reason he's going to the Hall of Fame. I mean, he's an incredible player.
Steve, Kuminga seems to be earning some chunks of playing time recently, played quite a bit tonight. What is he doing that you like?
His defense has really been excellent, and he's guarding some of the tougher players for the opposing team, whether it's a point guard or a wing. He's got great size, and he's smart. He's really starting to figure out how to defend without fouling, and try to bother those ball handlers. And so he's earning minutes for sure.
Coach, speaking of Kuminga, you've been bringing him in the first quarter lately, but tonight with Wiggins out, you waited till around the 8-minute mark of the second quarter. I was just wondering if you could elaborate on why it took so long to bring him in.
Well, we wanted to get some shooting on the floor, so we went to Moses before we went to J.K. and Lamb as well. So it just with Wiggins out, it just changed the rotations.
You last season, that 3-guard lineup, Poole, Curry, and Clay together was really good. I mean, all the metrics. This season, it's kind of been middling a little bit. Obviously, you started it tonight. Why do you think those 3 together haven't maybe been as potent as they were last season?
I don't know. I mean, I think Obviously it took Clay a little while to get going this season, and JP's been, up and down a little bit. And so, I think Jordan has really picked up his play here of late. So I don't think it's a trend. I think it's more just, we haven't had all three guys clicking at the same time, but I think that's just a matter of time.
Coach, we talked about Clay pregame, and with him leading the team with points, do you see him playing back-to-back games and getting more minutes off the bench?
At some point, you're talking about Clay?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, at
Yes.
some point Clay will probably play a back-to-back, but at this point we don't know exactly when.
Steve, without looking at the video, obviously, that you will, when you look at this game, what is the part of this game that was most disappointing, I guess, or irritating to you?
I think our offensive execution, it was, the game was scattered and they were getting to the rim quite a bit, and our defense wasn't great, but we didn't attack in a great way, and we didn't adapt and adjust, to the way they were guarding us, and that's on me. I've got to do a better job of helping the guys recognize what the defense is doing and how we can counterattack that. We just felt like we never found that offensive groove that we needed.
Is that specifically related to Steph? He finished 3 of 17. Obviously had a cold night, but are you mostly talking about how they defended him?
Yeah, I thought they did a good job on Steph, trapping him. They've got some long, athletic bigs. So they switched and trapped quite a bit on the perimeter and just tried to keep him off the three-point line as much as they could. And we just we didn't attack that well enough. Thank you.